Ada ate the New Year food, and that single act followed her like a shadow that never rested. In the village of Umwago, where the red earth clung stubbornly to bare feet and the wind carried the voices of ancestors, time was not treated like a joke. Every sunrise mattered, every sunset meant something, and the turning of the year was considered one of the most sacred moments of all. People believed that the way you entered the new year was the way the new year would enter you. That was why nobody joked with New Year traditions, especially when it came to food. Ada grew up in that village, hearing those same warnings again and again, but she never truly listened. She was the only daughter of Mama Ezin, a widow who struggled every day in the market selling palm oil, vegetables, and sometimes dried fish. Mama Ezin was respected because she feared tradition and taught it with seriousness. Ada, on the other hand, had a sharp tongue, quick wit, and a heart that hated waiting. She believed most traditions were exaggerated stories invented by elders to control young people. Whenever the old women gathered at night to tell moonlight tales about spirits and consequences, Ada would sit at the back, suppressing laughter, shaking her head slowly as if to say old people and their imagination. As the year slowly crawled to an end, Umogo prepared for the new year the way it always did. Homes were cleaned, debts were settled, quarrels were resolved, and special food was prepared. This food was not ordinary food cooked for hunger. It was New Year food, prepared with prayer, patience, and silence. Every ingredient had meaning. The pounded yam symbolized unity, the soup symbolized abundance, the meat symbolized strength, and the palm wine symbolized joy. Nobody was allowed to taste it until the sacred drum sounded at dawn on the first day of the year. Mama Ezin cooked that year's New Year food with special care. Perhaps she sensed something in her spirit, or perhaps she simply wanted the new year to be better than the last. The soup was thick and rich, the aroma filling the small hut until even the walls seemed hungry. Ada watched closely, swallowing hard as the pot bubbled gently. Her stomach growled, and her mouth watered, but Mama Ezin covered the pot tightly and warned her with a serious voice that left no room for argument. She told Ada that touching the New Year food before dawn was like stealing tomorrow before it arrived. Ada nodded obediently, but inside her mind, she was already arguing. She told herself food was food, that hunger did not understand tradition, and that nothing bad would happen from just a little taste. Night came slowly, and the village buzzed with excitement. Distant laughter echoed, drums sounded softly, and children whispered happily about the new year. Ada lay on her mat, eyes wide open, unable to sleep. The smell of the food seemed stronger at night, drifting toward her nose like a deliberate temptation. She tried to resist, turning from side to side, pulling her wrapper tighter, whispering to herself to wait till morning. But hunger spoke louder than reason. Slowly, carefully, she stood up and tiptoed toward the pot. The moonlight filtered through the cracks in the hut, enough to guide her hands. She uncovered the pot, and warm steam rose gently, carrying the promise of satisfaction. Ada dipped her finger into the soup, tasted it, and closed her eyes. It was sweeter than she imagined, richer than anything she had eaten all year. One taste became another, and another, until she scooped a full portion and ate like someone who had been starving for days. When she was done, she wiped her mouth, covered the pot, and returned to her mat with a satisfied smile. She told herself nothing would happen. After all, morning would still come, and the new year would still arrive. She slept deeply, without guilt, without fear. At dawn, the sacred drum sounded through the village, announcing the arrival of the new year. People cheered, greeted one another, and prepared to share their meals. Mama Ezin uncovered her pot, ready to bless the food, but her heart dropped when she saw that it had reduced. Her hands trembled as she turned slowly to Ada and asked the question she already knew the answer to. Ada tried to deny it at first, but the truth sat heavy on her face. When she finally admitted it, Mama Ezin cried out in pain, not just because of the food, but because of what it represented. The elders were summoned immediately. Ada stood before them, her confidence gone, her shoulders slumped. The oldest elder spoke calmly, but his words were heavy. He said that when someone eats what belongs to tomorrow, they rob themselves of patience and invite imbalance into their life. Ada was asked to apologize publicly and perform cleansing rituals, and for 7 days she was sent to serve the poorest families in the village. Ada agreed, thinking it was only embarrassment and hard work. She did not know the real consequence had already begun. From that day onward, Ada was never satisfied by food. She ate large meals but felt hungry moments later. Her stomach growled constantly, and no matter how much she ate, the hunger refused to leave. Her body grew thin, her eyes lost their brightness, and her laughter disappeared. Mama Ezin spent her nights crying, begging the ancestors for forgiveness. The elders soon realized that Ada had not just broken tradition. She had consumed the spiritual blessing meant to carry her through the year. To restore balance, Ada was sent on a journey to seek forgiveness. She was taken to a distant village and placed under the care of an old woman known for patience and discipline. The woman cooked only once a day and waited long hours before eating. At first, Ada suffered terribly, but slowly, something inside her began to change. She learned how to wait without anger, how to serve without complaining, and how to respect time. For the first time in her life, hunger did not control her. After 1 full year, Ada returned to Umwogo a different person. She was calm, humble, and quiet. The elders performed the final cleansing ritual, and the curse lifted. Ada felt full again, not just in her stomach, but in her spirit. She later became known as a storyteller, teaching children the lessons she learned the hard way. She told them that impatience steals blessings, that some things must wait for their time, and that food is not always just food. And so, whenever the new year approaches in Umwogo, elders still warn the children, reminding them of Ada who ate the new year food. Because in that village, they believe that destiny, like food, must be eaten only at the right time.